So good morning peoples, and we are out today on yet another test ride. This is the LXS from Lexmoto. Already done the LXR, and we've got a couple more bikes coming through the line, as we say. But test ride today, nice 10 miles on the bike as always, nice steady 40 to 45, just to run the bike in. So, people have asked me, difference between the LXS and the LXR. The LXS, I am cramped on this, and 32-inch leg. It's comfortable, but not that comfortable. If you've got a longer leg and you're anything over sort of 30 or 32-inch leg, get yourself an LXR. You will find yourself cramped on one of these. Reason being, seat height on the LXR is 820 millimeters. The seat height on this is 790, so it's a lot shorter in the seat, and obviously flat-footed. If I put my feet flat, I am about 2 inches off the bike. So I've got, sitting on the bike, my legs are bent down quite a bit, and it's very similar with the LSN and the LSZ. It's like the big bike, little bike. So, cracking up the mileage on this, we are currently 1.5 miles in. Already done the first test ride, which was a mile round the block once we did the PDI, just to check everything was all working. And now, the boring bit, up and down the dual carriageway like I normally do, hill climb, and then back to the garage for a cup of coffee. Now, I've had loads and loads of questions on 125 bikes. So, while we're doing this, I'm going to try and answer as many as I can. And we're on the drift cam today. I thought, do something different. I'm not going to use the GoPro. I got absolutely coated in mud the other day. And it was a little bit wet. And road wireless mics do not fare well in wet or muddy weather. So, hence the reason why we're on the drift cam. Because the road dirt today it's had a little bit of rain last night, and the spray off the cars today, I got absolutely coated yesterday. So my nice Phillip Island bike jacket is in the wash at the moment, because it went from a slight shade of fluorescent green down to brown, so absolutely covered in it yesterday. Hence the reason I am out in my overalls and my padded armour. Might need a new set of gloves as well. These are coated, so might have to put these through the wash if they fare well in the wash. We shall see. But nice steady 43 on the bike, and we're going to crank the mileage. Oh, the sun is coming out. This is good. This is going to dry up the roads. So on to these questions. What's the best tyre pressures to run on a 125? And normally it'll be anything from about 28 to 30 in the front. Some are a little bit more, some are a little bit less. And flash in Mr. Coach. I love having a pass light on this. So 28 to 30 on the front. Some are a little bit more, some are a little bit less, but the average norm is about 28-30 on your front. Your rear, you're always on a little bit more in the rear, something like 30-32s in the rear. And as I say, some bikes are different, but check the tech spec, and it's normally on your swing arm. Your tyre pressures are normally on your swing arm. Very easy to check, or refer to your handbook. When should I be changing the oil? Well, we've banged on about servicing regimes for ages, so anything that's a Lexmoto, 500 miles or 3 months until your first service, so 40 to 45. And then first service out the way, and then your 3,000 miles or 6 months after the first service, and that will get you 50 mile an hour, maximum of 55. So that is that one. But normally you should be servicing your bike at least every year, dependent on mileage, or 3,000 miles. Or if you happen to be like me and you be a little bit OCD, then I tend to do every 6 months. I change my oil on my bike every 6 months. It doesn't need it, but that is what I do. Right, just wait for Land Rover boy to get out of my way. I can shift lanes. We're going back down the other side of the dual carriageway. All that for an overtake. Could have just sat behind me at 45 miles an hour. Coming down the box. On the brakes, all good. And that was just the rear brakes. It's got combined braking on these ones. Water levels, very easy. Now on the LXR and the LXS, on the LXR you can look through the right hand chassis panel to see your water level. On the LXS you can't. You have to look up from underneath the front end with a torch. Or that little plastic cover down there on the right hand side, undo the Allen bolt, just peel it back and you can get to your top up there. Normally it's quite easy to refill any bike. These are an absolute pain in the posterior, but normally you shouldn't need to be checking your corner, just a visual check. You shouldn't need to be topping it up. If you are topping it up all the time, you've got a problem, and if you overfill it you will blow off what you don't need. So round we go. Nice steady green light, I love it. I've actually got all the greens against me this time. And horrible low sun. Shoulder check. And back on the dual carriageway. Chain tension, you should be checking your chain at least once a week, or part of your daily checks. Make sure that you're checking your chain. You should have around about anything between sort of an inch to an inch and a half. That is what I like on a bike, because remember, once you sit on the bike you're going to be taking up the slack, and it's very easy to adjust your chain. Undo your axle bolt at the back, and on your adjusters do half a turn each side, making sure you're keeping the adjustment on the marks. Now I don't go by the marks, it's very easy. What I tend to do is find a point on both sides of the bike and measure, which is normally from the adjuster to the back of the swing arm, and that will normally give you a measurement in millimeters. And then what I tend to do is measure either side of the tyre, but remember some swing arms are slightly elongated more on one side than the other. The easiest way is to do it on your adjusters at the back, and then check your chain tension, tighten your back wheel bolt back up, and then sit on the bike and get someone just to up and down your chain for you, because your chain tension will be different off the bike than it will be on the bike. So just make sure you haven't over tightened your chain, but you should have at least about an inch. Or easiest way, buy yourself a chain monkey, about 16 quid. Chain monkey laser tool, job done. And if you don't know what you're doing, take it to a bike shop, get it done. Don't attempt to do something if you don't know what you're doing. And it's breezy this morning. Obviously the weight of this bike is only around about 129 kilos, and it's getting blasted everywhere. Ooh, windy wind. So that's how to maintain your bike. And as I say on any bike, a good coat of the old ACF 50. Bang some ACF 50 on your bike all the time, which is what we're going to be doing with this one when we get back. Quick jet wash, blow it off with the dryer, and then ACF 50 everywhere. Oh dear. But otherwise, you look after the bike, it will look after you. So while we're finishing off the test ride, a couple of quick things. What is going on this week? Well, Friday night live stream as always with Coffee RB. The coffee's finally going, but we'll see how we fare tonight. And of course, don't forget, every Sunday we're normally down at the Super Sausage. We might be going to Gasoline Juice this weekend and have a run out of gasoline juice, have a little bit of fun and check out the bike shop down there. We'll go a little bit further afield and catch up with all the boys. That's Andy GSA Tractor, Simon GTR 1400, who's still waiting on his forks, and no doubt catch up with Mr. Darren Spears from HBB Motorcycles. Good old Darren. Perfect gent he is, absolutely lovely guy. And obviously try and book my GTR in to have my fork seals done, because I just haven't had the time at the moment. My bike leaks like Rev Mick's old Triumph Sprint at the moment. His was underneath, mine's from the forks. 6.8 miles in, hill climb to go, and then back to the garage. So that's a Friday night live stream. Also, congrats to Boating Biker Bird. She has passed her big bike license, so she's going to be looking for a bigger bike. And hope to see her out on the run, keeping up with us now. So that's going to be fun. And of course, all the Scottish vlogsters, Scottish Vlogster, Z-Head, Lockwood 92, Sprocket Rocket, Chris, and Bruce, and all the boys from Scotland. We're catching up with them tonight in the live stream and checking out their pages. As I say, in the description down below is a list of all the bikers we follow, including my old mucker Piggy, who happened to do a Wednesday midweek mumble, which was good this week. It's good to see him back on his midweek mumble. Up into 6th gear and open it up on the hill climb. .2 miles in. Brilliant. Bike is behaving itself, as you would expect from a new bike. Some get issues, some don't. And then hopefully a little bit more to do on the LXS. Final PDI inspection and the final ride on that. If you haven't seen the walk round video on the LXS, go and have a look at it. Gorgeous bike. Flashing the lorry. Nice steady 44 up the hill. And this road dirt is everywhere now. Visor is coated in it. No doubt the drift down the side has got probably a speckle of dirt all over it by now. You're probably all misty people if you're watching. Well, I'm holding the throttle open, so I ain't got time to wipe. That sounded wrong. It's doing very well. It's holding its own on the hill climb. And only dropped 1 mile an hour, which ain't bad at all.